I'm sorry, the second line, well, I forget, top or second. In the G71 code, the 2 line, one of those lines is going to have your depth of cut that you can adjust on the fly. Maximize that depth of cut. Maybe you could eliminate 1 pass.
Hey team, this is Luke with Crusader Machining, back for another excellent Friday video. The other day on my socials, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, I posted a short talking about how I reduce cycle time, how I took apart, I went from 1:18 down to a minute, and how I did it without changing or addressing any speeds and feeds. There's a lot of great engagement on there. I had probably half a dozen people DM or message me on various platforms asking a further question, but then there was loads of comments of people that had their ideas on how they speed it up, why I do it this way. It was really a really great conversation. On TikTok, I haven't even responded to all the comments. It was loaded with them. And I've said before in this channel, one of the main reasons I do that is for that reason. Whenever I make a video like that, there's always people that'll comment, man, and I learn so darn much from them, from different peoples and different walks of life on how they do it. Hopefully people out there can learn from me, but it's what I call a double-edged sword. I also learn from them, which is great. So in this quick video, we're gonna talk about a couple different ways that I go through speeding up a cycle time, but first and foremost, I set up a job last night, finished it this morning, and what I like to do when I'm getting ready to speed up a cycle, I take the feed outs out, shut the water, shut the door, and I just watch it. I watch everything run at full rapid to see, is there anything glaring that I can fix or improve? Long story short, let's do that and hop right into the video. So that's our program running in what I call dry run. And I know it's not technically dry run. We're not using the dry run button on the control. Speaking of, I got my feed outs back in. We are back in production. We were down for about five minutes or something. So in a job like that you just watched the video, and I did speed it up for the point of brevity. I don't want to have you watch the whole 4-minute, 20-second cycle or whatever it was. When I'm going to speed up a job like that, I had a few people comment, hey, what's the point of taking off 5 seconds? Well, we're running this order for like 5,500 parts, and we might end up running a double order of right around 11,000. So 5 seconds on 10,000 is 50,000 seconds. Now, I'm not a math genius, but that seems to me to be about 12 hours worth of time. As long as it takes me less time to speed it up than the time I save, then it's more than worth it. That's our perspective. Now, if I was going to save 1 hour of total run time, but it took me a day to get there, no bueno, bad idea. In that short, I covered approaches and G50. What an approach is, on a part like this, as you rapid before you drill, or as I'm rough turning, where I rapid to before I turn. The approach is a safe rapid position before you engage your linear or circular interpolation, G1, G2, something of the sort. That is critical. And another person commented saying, hey, why don't you fix your cam software? Right, that's 100% true. I'll take it, take that comment to heart, the criticism to heart. It's true. We should fix our cam system. But sometimes, and one of the reasons I like people being able to hand program, say you fix the cam system, but there's one tool you missed and your approach is off by 1 point instead of 0.1. Stupid mistake, probably not going to happen, but what if it did? You should be able to know how to go into control and find out where that's at and change it without taking a whole program out, going back into your cam system, rewriting the whole thing. Hand programming is important. It's important to know how. But approaches were one of the things I covered. If you're like, so say this bore depth that we're boring here is I think 0.7 or something like that. So as I'm boring it, it's 0.7 deep. If my approach is 0.1, which isn't bad, I have 100 thousandths clearance, but what if my approach is a 1/4 inch and I'm taking 3 or 4 passes, we're cutting air. We're gonna minimize the approach. Last thing I want to expand on was that G50. There's 2 reasons to have your G50 applicable to your machine. Proper tool life. If your G50 is low and you can't achieve the surface footage of the G96, the surface footage that you're supposed to, you can have bad tool life or part finish. Also, cycle time. I've had jobs where we were running, it was a mistake in either the cam software or the programmer at the control had a G50 at 1,000. And his cycle was double. His tool life was garbage. We went and put the G50 at 3,500. It was great. A couple other ways that we could speed up a job. You want to look at your feeds and speeds, which should be done before that program is in the machine. Maximize your depth of cut to have the minimal amount of passes necessary. That's huge in time savings, and that's why I love G71, babe. G71 for rough inside turning or outside turning, boring or turning, you can adjust that depth of cut that quick. The top line, the second line, well, I forget, top or second. In the G71 code, the 2 line, one of those lines is going to have your depth of cut that you can adjust on the fly. Maximize that depth of cut. Maybe you could eliminate 1 pass. Same with the speed, your surface footage. Outside of just the G50, you want to have that surface footage as high as you can on the recommended. Do I advise you go the maximum speed right out of the gate? No. Get the job set up, get it running, get it making good parts, then go back and address it. Go as fast as you can with that tool. Fastest feed as possible, fastest speed. And what I like to do when I'm speeding it up, I'm not going to go in a 50% increment, or I'm not going to say, well, I'm going to add 5 thousandths to the feed and be arbitrary. I'm going to move them up in 10% increments. Here's an example. If my rough feed on my turn is 10, f.010, I'm going to move it up 10% and go to 11. If I'm still getting great tool life, machine sounds great, part looks great, I'm going to bump it up to 12 as I start to run it, as I start to know that it'll handle it. So in conclusion, there's a lot of ways to speed up your job. Approach, G50, speeds and feeds, maximize your depth of cut. Minimize the amount of the time that tool has to go and engage the material. All those things can speed it up. Now, if you're running 1 piece or a short order of 5 parts, it's not that big of a deal. We had a job that was for 245,000 little brass rivets. 20 seconds was the cycle. We got it down to 18. We saved something like 80 hours on 1 or 2 seconds. For you math geniuses out there, which I am of course not, what's 2 seconds? What's 2 seconds times 245,000 parts? That's a lot of time. So going in there to save those 2 seconds, although it's just 2 seconds, that's a lot of time. And I love speeding up jobs, optimizing cycle time. It's so much fun to use our creativity to get in there and get it done. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and of course here at YouTube. Leave a comment. What'd you think of the video? What'd you think of the program? How would you speed it up? My goal, I got to get about 40 seconds off that cycle time, which I know I can today or tomorrow. How do you speed up a time? How do you speed up your cycle time? Speeds, feeds, approach? What do you use? Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. This is Luke with Crusader Machining.